Okay, so this is something you'll see if you take econ. Okay. Well, you heard of supply and demand. Can I just ask, is anyone taking microeconomics? Is that a thing people do? Brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you. Very good. If I make a mistake, I'm very rusty on this subject. If I make a mistake. Okay, we're going to talk about supply and demand. You like to draw graphs like this, which are kind of weirdly oriented, okay? So this is going to be the unit price of a good. This is going to be the quantity of the good. Okay, a product, oranges, books, whatever. Okay, again, you don't need to know this at all. I'm just trying to give you some kind of application. Okay, put the price here, the quantity here. We'll talk about demand first. Okay? All right, what do we do? Let's do something like that. That's called the demand curve. What is that telling us? That's telling us that as the price of something increases, the amount of it that people will be willing to buy or demand goes down. Okay? Now again, this is stupidly oriented for this discussion, but this is how economists do this. So again, the higher the price, the less people demand or are willing to buy. Okay? We're used to this. Not everything's like this, but almost everything is. Okay, and that's why this thing slopes downward. Okay, the other one is, oh look, there's pink. Okay, the other one, surprise, is supply. Let's do that. It's called the supply curve. Okay, the higher the price of something, the more of it suppliers or producers or manufacturers or whatever are willing to make. Okay, so the higher the price, the more people are willing to sell. Or the more firms are willing to sell. And so that's why this thing is upward sloping. And that's all that says. Okay, and one thing you're going to learn in econ, if you take it, is that markets, free markets, competitive markets, tend toward equilibrium. Okay, and in this case what that means is that the price stabilizes to there. Okay, so that's called the equilibrium price. That's called the equilibrium quantity. By the way, microeconomics is essentially study of behavior. It's the behavior of firms and people in free markets. Okay. So the market settles toward equilibrium. The behavior of sellers and buyers basically pushes the market price toward here, toward where these guys intersect, where the amount supplied and the amount demanded are the same. Yes, ma'am?
I can't tell, but I think your microphone might have...
Really?
I mean, I'm in the front, so I can't.
How curious that the front row told me that. Thank you. It's good now, yeah? Thank you. Excellent. Okay, good. So again, market forces, the behavior of people in firms forces the price over here, okay, where these guys intersect, where the quantity supplied and the quantity demanded are the same. There's no shortages, there's no surpluses, nothing like that. Okay. Excellent. Now we talk about areas. Okay, check this out. So, the area between the demand curve and the price level. Anyone know what this is called? Good. Yes, that's it, thank you. Consumer surplus. Okay, in a way this measures the dollar amount, how much better off consumers or buyers are from this whole thing having taken place. Okay? For example, suppose I'm on this demand curve somewhere, and suppose this is about books, okay? And I was over here, and I'm willing to pay $20 or less for a book. Okay, if I'm willing to pay $20 or less for a book, and I managed to buy the book for $15, then I've sort of benefited by $5, okay? So how much better off I am because of this sale can be measured that way, okay? So I was willing to pay 20 bucks, I got to buy the thing for 15 bucks, so I benefited by 5 bucks, okay? And that 5 bucks would be the difference between what I was willing to pay and the price that it was, so that amount. And if I add over all the people who were involved in that kind of thing, so all the buyers who managed to buy, then I get what's called consumer surplus, how much better off everyone is in a dollar amount altogether because this thing happened. Okay, similarly, producer surplus. The producer surplus, with an S on it. Same-ish kind of argument. The area between the supply curve and the price level is how much better off overall the producers are from this sale having taken place. And one of the big lessons of economics is in free or competitive markets, everyone's happy, right? Producers benefit and consumers benefit from trade, okay? The total area between the two curves up to here is called total surplus. Okay, so if we get the area between the demand and the supply curve up to that equilibrium, we get what's called total surplus. It's how much better off, or how much everyone has gained net, producers and consumers, from trade having taken place, from sales having taken place, or whatever. Okay. Once we understand this, then we can talk about other things. We can talk about how does the position of this equilibrium, does the price hitting this equilibrium, how does that affect total surplus? Okay, could total surplus have changed if the price was different? What would happen if the price went up? Would consumers suffer, producers suffer, and all this kind of thing? Okay, just an introduction. Hopefully that makes some sense. So in economics, you do actually talk about areas between curves, and if you can model these things with equations, which does happen, and you find the areas between them, then you can discuss the effects of, let's say, changes in price or various policies and that kind of thing.